Hey guys, and welcome to your February 2020 Tarot Creativity Forecasts. My name is Kayleigh Jean, and welcome to my channel. I record these readings for artists, creatives, entrepreneurs, and anybody who is working on their personal growth or their spirituality and self-expression in any way. So if those areas of life are intriguing to you right now, go ahead and keep watching. I also wanted to give a really quick announcement about the Tarot Self-Therapy group course that we have coming up. I will put all of the information below. This is a course that starts actually this month in February, and all of the information again will be in the link below this video. It's essentially a course that takes you through really forming a deeper personal relationship with your deck from specifically a self-therapeutic perspective. So we're going to be working with the cards in a very gentle way, getting to know the archetypes and exploring the archetypes and their ins and outs very in depth, and also working with self-healing spread work and how you can really use tarot as a self-healing tool. So if you're looking for something to indulge your curiosity in, especially when it comes to tarot and divination or even healing work in general, this course could have a lot for you. And we also do have a group where you can chat with other participants as well. Alright, so that information is below the video. Let's get right into your reading. Okay, Taurus, let's get into your February reading. While I was tuning in spiritually for you during meditation, I had a really interesting message come forward, so I would love to hear from you in the comments if this message is for you. Essentially, what my guide who helps me with these readings showed me was someone kind of opening like a planner or a calendar, and they're like looking over everything that they've written, and they're looking back at previous months and weeks and looking at everything that they've done, and they're really being organized, and they've gotten everything kind of more or less written down, under control, everything's accounted for, and then but then they look up and they still look a little bit anxious, okay? And then the message that was coming through is so freaking sweet. It almost like brought tears to my eyes a little bit, but it's like, the message I want to give you, Taurus, is that you've done everything that you can. And sometimes what we have to do once we've sort of taken care of all of the things that we can take action on, we've done our research, we've done our homework, we've been planning things out, we were being strategic, we're dedicated to a path. Sometimes then, like, that's the point where empowerment actually comes in the form of surrender. Once you've done everything that you can do, once you've put in all this hard work and you continue to be committed and you continue with your dedication, then that's the time to kind of lean on divine support in a way and ask the universe to take care of it. The message is really that, like, there's something in the collective that I think is going to either expand or evolve or change things, and that is what's going to open up the next door for you to go through. So I feel like this energy of you kind of having worked so hard or having put in a lot of thought and time and energy, and then you're like, but like, where's the door? Where's the door? Like, it's not opening, like, but it's like, it is opening, Taurus. It's just a matter of being in that space to fully surrender, being in that space to fully kind of allow divine guidance and help to come to you. So one of the best things that you can do at this point, when you're where you are right now, Taurus, the best thing you can do is pray, or do whatever you do to communicate with, whatever you communicate with. If you're working with your higher self, or if you feel that you're working with deity, or even just, your own energy and intention. I think that's really what should give you a sense of peace and accomplishment at this point. I don't think that there's any more ways that you could perfect the effort that you're putting out. For many of you, I feel like you're actually getting into a good flow. Even if it doesn't always feel like it, you're getting into a good flow of productivity. You're mastering your skills more and more all of the time. So the message is really just not to look at that with anxiety, but actually embrace it and allow it to feel good. Allow it to feel good to kind of surrender and say, all right, life, I'm taking this action. I'm dedicating my life to this, or I'm dedicating this year to this project, or whatever it is. And just wait, as you continue to take action, allow and ask and then wait. Because you will receive an answer. You will be getting signs and omens, I feel, in the first half of the month in particular. You will get little signs and omens that will remind you that you're on the right track, but you have to pay attention for them, Taurus. You have to be willing to see them. And they are put on your path for a reason, to remind you that you're on the right track. It's just a matter of bearing witness to that. Okay, and then I do feel some energy coming through towards the latter portion of February, but we'll see with your cards what specific advice and messages we get. So let's take a look here for Taurus. Okay, here we go. I'm using the After Tarot. I just find this deck to be really fun and exciting to use. So let's look at your Animal Spirit Oracle cards. Wow, so we've got Vulture as the path, and we've got Crocodile as the influence. Wow. So this Taurus, I feel, is going pretty deep. This is a deep month for you, and I do feel like this sense with the visual kind of darkness of these cards, it is kind of affirming to me the faith that you're being asked to take in life. Like, you're kind of being asked to trust that this time period, and whatever it is that you feel called to do during this time period, whether it is release work, or whether it is, allowing your ideas to percolate, or even working on things behind the scenes, would be a really big theme with these cards. That whatever that inclination is, that's what you need as a creator, trust that completely. Trust the timing of things this month. Trust the flow of life. Sometimes we like to kind of have things be like rushing all of the time. We want to see results. We want to see proof that our, prayers are being answered, or that our work is, going to be efficient and create the results that we want. We want to see, of course, those reminders, but I think in February, the real message here for you, Taurus, and the real growth is, can you trust yourself and your intuition and your spirit, even when you're in this either totally new environment, or when you're in like a phase of your creative work that isn't totally like falling over its heels trying to affirm you and validate you. Like, can you be in that vacuum? Can you be in that quiet space of, I don't know what the right answer is. I'm not getting tons of, enthusiasm and praise and reinforcement here. But I have to trust what I'm doing. Like, I have to trust the path that I've set myself on. Sometimes that is the most profound period of growth in any journey. It's not the period that we usually want to have. Like, it's not the time that's the most fun necessarily. And that's also to be expected, astrologically, when the sun is in Taurus, anything that is traveling with the sun is, going to be squaring you. So astrologically, I have shared this on this channel and other places, but I personally, with a stellium in Scorpio, I find Aquarius season for me to be particularly more challenging. It's not that I don't like it or anything, but I notice that I'll have like more little health issues pop up from time to time during Aquarius season, or sometimes I just feel a little bit more low. So if you have a lot in Taurus, like if you have, a stellium in Taurus or sun or moon, or, if you have multiple things in Taurus, you could definitely feel that energy, because it squares you. So it's kind of a little bit more of a challenge period, but it's not anything, major that you don't experience every year anyway. So it's not a huge deal. But looking at these cards, I feel like there is going to be a desire to kind of go within. And there's going to be a desire to, well, there could be conflicting desires, because on the one hand, with the crocodile, I think that you're very focused, like you're laser focused on what you want. You know what you want. You're not confused about that. But with the vulture, it's like you have to be willing to go through this process of renewal. You have to be willing to kind of sit in the shadow of whatever it is that you're trying to create, and like allow that to exist while simultaneously holding the bright vision of what you're doing. And that's the whole game of this month for you. That is the entire crux of the game this month for Taurus, is can you hold that clear, bright vision for yourself even while you're in the vulture phase. And I think you're going to be, rewarded for it, especially when you allow yourself to experience this energy without resisting it. And hopefully getting this reading and having received this reading would help you in some way to remember that in those moments where you're like, oh, I kind of feel like the energy's a little low, or, I'd really like some kudos on this project, but nobody's like giving it to me. It's not necessarily because they don't like what you're doing or they're not happy with your work, Taurus. It could just be that for whatever reason, their circumstances preclude them from really being able to witness you and what you're doing. So there may be a lack of praise this month, to be totally frank with you, especially when it comes to your creative endeavors. You might not really get an attaboy. You might be like sitting here like, I turned that report in 2 weeks ago and I did a really good job. Like I worked so hard on it, and it's like crickets. But I feel like it will come back around, Taurus. I feel like if there is a situation like that, you're going to get what you need to get. It's just there could be a delay. All right? So let's take a look at your cards and we'll get some more insight into how you can work with this. So wow, we've got 10 of Cups, Justice, 2 of Swords, 7 of Wands. Yeah, that makes sense. Ace of Cups and the King of Cups, with the 2 of Pentacles and the 6 of Cups. So it's really beautiful. I do find that this reading is very much speaking to the astrology, funny enough, of this time period, because we start to see this more comfortable, familiar energy showing up at the end of the month with the 6 of Cups. Like, as the sun moves into Pisces, that's really going to be your shift point, where, the sun at least is going to be sextiling points that you have in your chart in Taurus. So it's also, they're both feminine signs. So you probably tend to feel more comfortable during the water season months, and just because you're an earth sign, and earth season months as well, because it's more of like a feminine energy, like atmospherically. Obviously it has nothing to do with like male, female, but it's an atmospherically more gentle time. So I feel like you're going to get that real visceral sense of like times changing as the sun moves into Pisces. But up until then, I see that there is potential for some kind of disagreement when it comes to either family matters or a group that you're in, because the Ten of Cups can represent obviously family, like your family of origin or your family of creation. And it is a happy card, generally speaking, but given the context of this reading, I feel like it's kind of a mixed bag, because you do have the Ace of Cups and the King of Cups. So there is new renewal in your life coming in for sure. But I feel like something has sort of become out of balance, Taurus, and it's affecting like everyone who's involved in this group. So whoever this group is, if it's like your team at work or your colleagues or even your industry, this card, because my readings tend to focus on, creativity and business and entrepreneurship, this can also be like people in your industry. There could be something like upsetting your industry a little bit if you're a business owner or a creative person. It may not necessarily involve you directly, Taurus. It could just be something that you're watching kind of going on and you're thinking, wow, like this is kind of weird. I've never seen this happen before. Or it could be something that it hits closer to home and you're like, all right, I need to make some shifts here. Like I need to either raise or lower prices, or I need to rethink my product line, or I need to, make some adaptogenic sort of changes to what's going on. It could also be if you manage a team, or if you are responsible, or if you're an integral sort of cog in like a team that almost like works together to accomplish a goal. I feel like there's something here about like there could be either somebody who has been, either squirreling away money from the company, for example, or there could be someone who hasn't been pulling their weight. There could be multiple people who aren't, or there could be, like I said before, some kind of upset in industry that dramatically can change the workforce. So something that may or may not be personal to you is somehow on your mind. And I think with justice, because justice for me is kind of like a universal energy, it's not really like a personal in-your-face energy. I think that whatever's going on right now, its time has come, Taurus. Like this is something that needs to happen right now. So you can see how like some people are kind of have more to lose, and some people have maybe something to gain from it. And I want you to just kind of try and, like, what I'm seeing here is like this Two of Swords, and this woman is like standing in the background, or she's sitting and she has her blindfold on. And then here we have the Seven Wands and people are fighting. So in the first half of February, and this feels like a very specific message, but in the first half of February, there might be conflict going on around you that at first you are trying to kind of keep your distance from it because you're like, this isn't like, not my circus, not my monkeys, like that kind of thing. And I think like this could even be where people are sort of arguing and maybe they want you to take a side, or maybe they want you to maybe somehow they're also sparring for your favor. That could be part of it too, is like they both sides want to convince you of something because your vote matters, right? But with Seven of Wands, I think that this is going to, it can escalate quickly. It can also sort of spiral quickly. So I want you to just be really clear on what your responsibility is in the situation and communicate that. If it's like interpersonal arguments in personal relationships that you're having, like with a spouse or a family member or a close friend, I feel like ultimately it's very possible that some of you will make the decision to join the conversation, but I want you to be really clear what your objective is, and I want you to also really communicate like everything that you want the other people to know. Like, I guess by saying this, I'm trying to kind of warn you against jumping into conflict based on a knee-jerk reaction. So you might like hear something, like your eyes are blindfolded right here. I feel like you're in the center. And so you're doing your best to kind of stay in the center symbolically, but you might hear something. You're covering your eyes, but you might hear something that you're like, hang on, I need to get involved in that. Like, that's not cool. And that's fine for you to do that, Taurus, but I just want you to be really like methodical about how you go about that, because I think that there's potential that this could create like unforeseen changes. Like the conflict itself could create unforeseen shifts. So I want you to like really keep that in mind and be clear like what your involvement is, because if you just jump right into this like cesspool of kind of annoyance that's going on, it might just kind of cause more frustration for you in the long run. So just have some disclaimers as you jump in and be like, you know what, maybe I don't really have a reason to jump in right now, but I do want to say that, you know, this person, you know, I know for sure that they were doing this, this, and this right, or that they, you know, if you're defending somebody, just be clear on like the front end of your argument and the back end of your argument, that you're not trying to like add more fuel to the fire, and that you're also recognizing like the limits of your understanding maybe of the situation, so that you don't make unnecessary enemies. The energies in the third week are actually really nice. I mean, I do feel like just seeing the King of Cups and the Ace of Cups coming up here, they're both Cups cards, so obviously, you know, emotions may be running high. But I think ultimately the outcome of this is positive. There could be some kind of change in relation to a water sign man, like on a very mundane level of this reading. Could be Scorpio, or, you know, any water sign basically with the King of Cups, but more likely than not that it would be a Scorpio person. And this individual, you could be going through like a renewal of your contract with them. If you have like a business relationship with them, you might, if they were the person you were arguing with or against, that you might like forgive each other. There could be something along those lines going on. But overall, I feel like this is indicating some kind of like ultimate harmony or peace coming through in the third week of the month. So I would expect tentatively that emotions should start to run more smoothly. People are probably going to be more feeling like they want to be on the same page, and the energy of conflict should be, you know, beginning to dissipate, especially if you've handled yourself and like your part in it like pretty well. And then by the end of the month of February, we've got the Two of Pentacles and the Six of Cups, which I already touched on a little bit. But the way I see this Two of Pentacles is really just like a shift. There could be like some kind of traveling or trip coming up for some of you, because I see everybody in these cards has their back turned. So I think as you get to the end of February, you're going to feel mobilized, Taurus, and you're going to feel like things are changing pretty quickly and you're going into new territory. So I also feel like there's going to be a helpful friend or a helpful influence, somebody who really kind of you enjoy spending time with as well at the end of the month, which is going to feel really gratifying. All right, Taurus, that's your reading. I hope this has been helpful. Please let me know in the comments if you have any feedback or questions, and I am just really enjoying hearing from you guys. If you want to just leave me a comment below and let me know you're still listening, I would absolutely love that. You can give me a little maybe like a little earth emoji if you have emojis, or you can just say I'm still here, because I absolutely love to get those. And if you get something from these readings every month and you really enjoy them, that's a really great way to reciprocate. If you also want to reciprocate in the form of a donation, I will put the information to donate below the video as well, and the Tarot Self-Therapy course if you're interested in following along with us next month. Again, all that information is going to be below the video. Sending you so much love, Taurus. I hope you have an amazing month, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!